just say talk amongst themselves for a minute and let the ads finish.
Are you going to point it back this way?
Yo, what's up, guys? Hey, Adam. Was it g'day? It's too late, see.
They've already seen us.
David, g'day. Stuart, hello. 624 Dudley, g'day. James P, hello. And Paul. Tea and Biscuits, hello. Yes, your stream is broken, Adam. Another Paul, g'day. Peter Nottle, hello. Necklace Workshop, g'day. There you go. This is about all you're going to get of this. We're here in the workshop. This is Dan from Dan Shed.
G'day.
Yeah. You should go and check out his channel. He actually posts videos sometimes. He posted 2 in one day the other day, and I think the shock's too much for everyone, and they never see another one.
That's my quota for the next 10 years.
But he's building a sawmill that's all line shaft and all that sort of cool stuff, so it's worth going and having a look. Absolutely.
It's getting there. Slowly.
If he doesn't fill the space up with steam engines and things first.
Hardest bit's been the weather.
Yeah,
6
it's
months
wet.
of rain just makes it really hard.
It's cold here.
Frustrating, yeah, it's really cold here.
Where's it raining? Is everyone got rain?
Oh, what's happening there?
We're getting a blowout. Don't know what that is. I think this one fixes it.
Coming to Queensland thinking it was going to be warmer than northern New South Wales. I think I'm wrong.
It doesn't. We're going back to normal. We could do that.
Wow. I'm way better like that.
Yeah.
Can't see me.
Okay, so we're going to go back the other way because this didn't work for me. So the bench hasn't been cleaned. In case you were thinking you were going to get a clean bench on that, so you can't get everything tonight. It's a bit of a mess actually, but I've been working all weekend. The bits that I've been home, and the other bits have been messing around at other people's places. So it's been a pretty full-on few weeks, really. Haven't been sort of, yeah. Couple of shout-outs this week though, so they're awesome. You should go and check out. Yeah, Carterman's channel. He's actually taken this whole Rough Cut 2022 thing on board and made a prize, which is pretty nice, which he's going to draw out of a hat for someone who enters a video. So that's a pretty good reason, like seriously good reason to enter a video, because something that he makes is pretty awesome.
I might have to make a video for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be
enthusiastic. No, that'll be 3 this year.
Gee. And yeah, so it's worth being in on, because I'd enter a video because of that, because he makes nice things. His videos had a lot of views because he's popular YouTube. He's one of the cool guys, and he's also very good looking. Be sure if you watch the video to leave a comment to that effect. Hey, Bill. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I got a shout out from Foxburg too on DJ gave us the fact he's not here yet, but he might not be either. I think it's still pretty early. And if I don't get up early for his stream, I don't expect him to get up early for mine. DJ gave us a shout out on the ARW live stream chat the other night too. So that's pretty exciting. So I picked up a few subscribers, so it's working for me. So look how much it's going to actually work for you if you actually make a video.
I don't know. Should pick up a few subscribers the other day.
Okay.
Even some comments.
Yeah, making videos makes a difference.
Yeah,
That's
helps.
why I'm not getting these subscribers. So, yeah, DJ gave us a shout out. There's also the guy named Branch and Foundry. So I haven't gone and checked out his videos, so that's a bit slack. But he gave me a shout out too on Instagram. Stephen Lang, g'day. Good morning. Hope it's a good one over there in New Jersey. You must be coming into summer now. What's happened? What have we done this week? Not much. Got some bolts for legs for the harmonograph. So that's a work in progress. We're starting to get nearly all the bits for that. I don't know if I like the actual silver, but they might do. Might have to remanufacture something in brass. What else? 3D printed a pattern for an engine named Brittany, which may or may not be its name, but anyway, just a bit of fun to see how it turned out. It's actually been printed in 3 bits, and it still needs a bit of filler across where it's joined. You can see the dovetails there, and I've just screwed that on a bit of plywood. So it's actually not coming up too bad. We might cast one at some point, if that's the official name. I spent some money. I don't know if I spent a lot of money. I got the air compressor all hooked up, so I've actually got, like, for the first time in the last 20 years, we've got like actual air, but it's got a leak in it, obviously. Switched off. There we go. So that's pretty exciting.
You showed the new Vice last week?
No, the Vice only arrived.
Yeah.
I bought a Vice here in Forbes in their end of financial year sale. No, it's heavy though. Just slide that out of the way. I don't know what's top. We could go over there. Oh, look at this. He's going to bring it across. I can't see it there.
I'm a bit jealous. I want one for mine, actually.
So I got this. It isn't a K. It's a K type. It's not an angle lock, but it's Vertex. The difference is that this has got square grooves in here instead of there's no clamping force at the top. So what happens is with this, it's a cheap Vice, but if you clamp something thin at the top, this theoretically kicks the jaw up.
The one I've got in my mill is terrible for that.
Yeah, well,
Annoys the hell out of me.
most of the ones I've ever owned have been like that. Now that's all very well, and you say, why would you not spend twice as much and get one that doesn't do that? One, because I didn't really want to spend twice as much, and two, if I've got something small, we can put a toolmaker's vise or grinding vise in this, and clamp it in that. So that's sort of the theory, but we'll see how that works in practice. We'll probably sell this to Dan and buy a decent one.
Give me the shit.
But it's not bad. It's got a crappy swivel base on it, which is probably going to go. But then I haven't got any hold down bolts for it either, so I'm going to have to find a couple of T-slots and some bolts. And probably, I haven't had a look at this. I guess we could. I don't know what's underneath here yet.
Just unbolt and clamp it to the head.
I think so. We could have a look.
I honestly don't think it's worth the extra height on the swivel base.
No, it's a pretty useless thing, and it does say in the book, don't do this. For heavy cuts or heavy work, don't.
Good morning from Spain.
Oh, hi, David.
I have to go to Spain later in the year, I think, for work.
Are you allowed into Spain?
I think so. I have to check.
It's going to be a bit
Probably
embarrassing if you're not.
P's and Q's they might let me in.
So there's not a lot of meat in here, but what my idea was.
Dudley's just realised I'm here, I think.
Yeah, hey. What I was thinking to do is put a keyway across here and then a key in it so that it lines up nice and easy, and probably the same the other way so you can swap it around. But it looks pretty good, really. And it'll certainly be good enough for, with a bit of care, they're capable of some good work. And the reality is that Dad managed his milling machine, worked it pretty hard for about 20 years and never ever owned a milling vice, so.
What's wrong with this one?
Well, I don't think it was ever set up on the mill. I don't think he's ever used a milling vice on it. Anything it was just clamped at the table.
That is very similar to the one I've currently got.
Who's with me? This is Dan from Dan Shed.
G'day.
Hey, Ian Matthews. G'day. So there we go. That is one thing. And while I was spending money, and I probably shouldn't have done this, but I'm probably not going to regret it either.
Hey, Stephen Lang. How are you?
I bought this box too, which is a set of parallels, which I've never really ever owned a whole bought set. I've got a couple of like custom made sets from friends, which are awesome.
Pretty, aren't they?
And probably nicer than these even, but there's a little set and then some crazy big sets, and there's a thin piece set here for that shape. So they'll be useful too, but they were more than the vice. The Vice's Vertex, I don't think these are. I'm not sure I ran to a Vertex set. So that was what we got. Spent Tuesday finishing off a set of footped. I don't know what you call them. I don't think they've got an official name yet. They're they extend the foot pegs forward 2 inches on a Harley. We've done a few sets of them. I finished another set on Tuesday.
Extension brackets.
Forward control extension brackets.
Yeah,
Goodness
pretty technical.
gracious.
Yeah.
That's what they'll be. Yes, I finished them. Journeyman Randy, g'day. Good to see you before you go walk the dog. Yes, I finished a set of them on Tuesday. Worked on Monday. Got a tin of oil. Don't know if that's of any interest to anyone.
What's the oil for?
What's the oil for? Let's put this away. We went and got pizza tonight. By the way, the pizza's awesome. There's 2 bits left. If you're keen.
Send that to someone. Pull names out of a hat or something.
Yeah, names out of hat on the pizza. You're very welcome. And I don't know if this works actually. It doesn't. We've got stuff here everywhere. There's the instructions for the Vertec vise and how to pull it apart and how to not put it together so it's any good again. And all the fancy certificates that the Chinese or Taiwanese or whatever they are like to send you. I wonder if that's a real signature or whether it's printed.
That's a bit fancy. That's pretty important.
This is the test papers. So it's got all that. It's plus or minus 0.01. The vise. 0.01, I don't know what, but anyway. I guess it's millimetres, but it might not be.
Fortune cookies.
Fortune cookies. So we. I guess we got to do this.
But that'll beg more questions.
Yeah. We got to do this. We got a drum of that. Dan will tell you all about this because he's really good with this sort of science. This is steam oil. The 3D printed clock. Does it use 3D printed springs? It's weight driven. The 3D printed clock. We'll get onto the 3D printed clock next week, eh? Was that you who sent me a message, James? Probably it was. Hey, Russ Knox. And I will find, yeah, it was. I will find some information about that for you, and then we'll look into it a bit more when you've had a look at it. But it's weight driven. It's actually remarkably good. It's not my design, but it printed very well. This is the sticky, awful stuff. And it's tallow based, or it's got a tallow constitute in it, which means that it's sort of half. It's soluble, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Soluble in water.
yeah, to a degree. It's designed so it's actually carried in the moisture and steam. It gets carried over into the valve chest and into the cylinder. That's what lubricates the slide valve and your piston and rings.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's horrible shit.
It's horrible shit. But anyway, we got some because you never know when you might need some, really.
Especially 20 litres with it.
No one's commented on the quantity of it yet. Beta oil, yeah. So I don't know where we're going to put that. I was going to have a look because it got a bung inside of it, hasn't it? No, it does. Look at that. There we go. Woohoo! It's got a place for a tap.
This
So we'll
stuff
have
is
to put a
seriously
tap.
that thick. You can put a tap on that, open the tap, walk away, and come back, and it might start running after you make a cup of tea. That's how thick this stuff is.
Maybe you need to put a spout with a screw-on lid.
Well, that's why we always have it in a metal tin, and we sit on top of the boiler, so the heat from the boiler actually warms it up, so you can actually use it and you can actually tip it into the lubricator. Otherwise, you'd be there forever.
Okay.
Now, we don't normally use it in bearings. It's not really designed for bearing surfaces, unless they're really, really flogged out bearings. Then you can, because it's nice and thick, but it's not really what it's meant for.
There you go. It's not a bearing oil.
Shouldn't be.
What about crossheads and
Shouldn't
things like that?
Once again, it's not really meant for that, but if it's got a lot of wear and you want to sort of take a bit of that slap out of it, you can throw it in there and it will, it's not going to, you're not going to lose it off that surface as quickly, but yeah, it's not really what it's intended for. But it's not to say that it hasn't been used for that in the past. You can get away with a fair bit with steam engines.
Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah, I've heard.
So there you go. We've got 20 litres of cylinder oil. That'll give you something to think about till next week. what else? I got this printed. Is gonna either laminate it or frame it or something. I don't know about framing it. We're sort of thinking about framing it and putting it above the sofa, but it's kind of fairly big. So it's fairly specific drawing, but it might be nice on the wall. And there's, see who's actually awake. There's no real way of actually sugarcoating this, but because of Dan's bad influence,
You've taken up drinking and bought a Harley.
I haven't taken up drinking or bought a Harley, but I do have the roller to go with this. So there you go. That's official.
You're going to keep it secret.
Yeah, no, I actually have a roller to go with this drawing. It's a Fowler DNA, 10-ton road roller. It's double crank compound.
Should we show it to them? It's parked just there.
No, it's not parked just there. It's fairly heavy. It's rated 10 tonne. I don't know how they worked that out because I believe it weighs about 12 tonne, 300 weight.
I think they just used to go off a calculation based on the materials they used to build them, which can be a bit inaccurate.
Well, they were all a bit under rather than a bit over. Like Dan. Yeah, he's terrible, really. So, for a bit anyway, he's probably going to live at Dan's place, so he might be down there for a few weekends in the next little while. If he can put up with me.
Fixing the road.
Fixing the road, yeah, all those sort of things. New firebox time. No, it requires no boiler work. That's one thing that we do know about it.
We spent a full day going right over it. And
Yeah, it needs no boiler work, and it's unlikely to need boiler work in my lifetime if we look after it. It does need a few things. The canopy needs a bit of work. It could do with a coat of paint. It's unlikely at this stage to get it anytime soon. The canopy wants curtains on it that roll down. It should have, like, if you have a look at this canopy on and top here. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't. I can't see that, and I'm right here. This canopy up here, it's only got the short canopy on it. It's not the long one that goes all the way to the end. It only goes to there.
did they do a long canopy on the rollers?
Yeah.
That was only something they did on traction.
Yeah, both options.
Okay.
See, it's got a dotted line there for the short one, and this one here too is dotted too, because that wasn't. I don't think those two bars are on the long one. Not that I've ever seen. They might have been. So we've got stunned silence there. Canopy curtains for privacy when the oil comes out. Yeah. Curtains to keep some of the dirt and weather out of it, actually, because it's kind of big. This is a bit of an issue with it, is that it's 2.2, 2.1 something metres wide.
Was it 5.8 long or something?
Yeah, 5.8 wide, and 19 feet or something long, in black and white measurements, and 3.2 metres tall. What model is it? It's a DNA, 1926. Works number 16771.
friend of mine actually owns
If you
the
want pictures of it,
building
you can Google Fowler 16771 and it should come up with something. Not very much probably, but so the sheer logistics of actually pulling it apart and painting it are just overwhelming to the extreme. It's a full-time, like, full focus job just to steer it without actually driving it. It's
We're certainly attracting some attention on the test drive up the road.
we went up the road and back on Sunday. We went and steamed it up and we checked all the boiler over and we had a good look inside it, and it's not a spur of the moment decision by any means, but there are reasons why this was probably a sound investment for me, I think, at the moment. But I might make an actual dedicated video about that at some point when we're walking around it. There's some videos on Facebook. There's not very much, actually. Didn't actually take a lot of videos because at that stage it still belonged to someone else. It's... What else can we say about it? It's 2-speed. It's had some new gears in it at some point, Matt said.
Yep.
So he's replaced some gears.
Yeah. And basically brand new boiler.
New boiler in 97, I think.
Yeah. Front tube plate.
Definitely takes a video. It's slower than these. Not as slow as you wouldn't think, actually, to be honest. The thing gets along pretty comfortably.
Put it this way, you've got to be good to be quick enough to steer to keep up with it.
Yeah, you want to slow down a bit if you want to turn a corner.
Yeah.
20 mile an hour, that's probably excessive, is it?
Yeah, probably, a little bit on the high side. That's,
12 or 15, I reckon.
Yeah.
Didn't actually...
We could ask that police car. That was,
there was a police car apparently that overtook us. We didn't see it because we were either busy changing, trying to stay on the road. That's right. At this point, it's not registered, but at some point, it probably will be.
I think the police just put that in the too hard basket and kept driving.
You're right. It makes a very good can crusher. 12 to 15 mile an hour is probably as fast as you want to be going on that thing if you've got to steer around corners.
Especially if the crank's spinning that quick right in front of you the way it is too, isn't it? It's flinging oil all over you.
Steering positions on this side. I'm going to look at this, looking down on the top of it here. It's our front roller, if you can understand. Then the boiler's here and then the back roller's here. Sorry about all the part numbers, but steering positions on this side with it needs an extra step off here because we're standing on this scraper here and that's sort of spring loaded and pivots and it's a bit dangerous, but we'll work on that. You can't see in any way, shape or form anything over here on this corner or anything on this wheel. So you've got no idea at all where the gutter is.
You can pretty much see along the right side of it and maybe just the corner of the roller enough to see where the
Yeah,
line
if you keep focused down the side of this roller here, you can generally sort of steer it. You probably saw something very similar, I think, on John's video. Driving positions on this side. Reversing lever and regulator and compound simpling valve so that you can start it off sometimes if it's on top dead centre. It's at this point the canopy's off it and the chimney's off it too to go in the shed that it's living in. most of the accessories are there, or we've got to sort of make a bit of an inventory of what is actually there. But anyway, it's a nice drawing and it'd be nice on the wall. And it sort of gives you a bit of an idea what you call all the bits if you can actually read it. It's a bit sort of complicated. Can it be used to run a line shaft? Overhead, yes. It's not much good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much good on a stone crusher or a shaft cutter or anything, because all you've got is this flywheel here, which is quite a big diameter, and the belt generally gets interrupted either way. So I'm not sure how I've seen some of them belted up back to front, but
Don't think they'll work on this one, but
I don't think so. It's only on the left-hand steer one.
it'd have to be directly overhead,
So
which would have to be a hell of a big line shaft setup because that.
I don't know, because it's got a governor on here too. So it's, have a look there. There's actually a governor on the drawing.
That's assuming the canopy's not on too.
Well, yeah, if the canopy's on, you can't. There's not much you can do. But anyway, it might not see a lot of belt work unless we think of a better way of doing it.
Got the throttle for that.
But looking at this drawing from the back, Dan,
Gives a better idea, doesn't it? Yeah.
if we look at this one from the back, there probably is actual clearance there. I don't know. You'd have to get a 4x2 and line up there and see what it actually touches. Don't know what's missing in that drawing and what's there.
Some of these dimensions may be not indicative of what your engine is too, didn't we decide? There were some variations which may be the rear track width too.
Might be too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause it's
I remember
not-
lining it up. I don't think
These hubcaps stick out the side of the wheels.
Yeah.
So there are a couple of different so you will be pleased to note that we are in good hands, because Dan has bought a Fred Dibner hat.
Everything will be fine.
So we're pretty much, yeah, he's got to get used to saying, one wrong step up here and it's half a day out with an undertaker like. But
Need a van as well.
Land Rover, yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
yeah, with a ladder on top.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Might get to see the hat if we do a video down at Glen Ray.
Oh, gee, yeah. Well, we'll get the video out and we'll do a decent video at Glen Ray if we get time. Glen Ray Timberfest is
30th.
30th, end of the month. I'm going to try and get down there. Dan's taken his portable.
A few bits.
The roller's not going to make it. It's just not even on the cards of being something that's is possible to make happen. It's not possible. Trouble is, you've got to get it home. Oh, we've got to get it to your place.
Try it.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It'll only be 3 days.
3 days drive between rallies.
And about 20 trailer loads of timber.
And an awful lot of really upset locals and truck drivers. So that's not going to happen. The canopy needs a bit of work, and the canopy will come here fairly quickly. And I'm going to sand it back and redo the calico on top and put some paint on it and so forth, and then we can put that on it and keep it out of the weather. See, now it's starting. Thanks, 10 Biscuits. It's starting. It's starting. G'day, Poppy. Not a lot of breaks. No, it's fairly controllable if you're on top of it. If you lapse for a minute, it becomes less controllable. And it's also boiler level, and it's fairly critical. The prime's pretty easy, so it's pretty fussy about water level. I think.
They're very.
So hills require some planning. So that's where we're at.
It's a
As
bit
far
like-
as the whole,
It's a tricky thing to fire, isn't it? It's,
it is. It
yeah.
is a bit fussy. It needs clean tubes because it's got a lot of tiny little tubes in it, and it needs. Yeah, sometimes it'll jump 50 psi, well, sort of while you got your back turned, and sometimes you're wondering where it all went. So that's the big news, and it's something that I've been looking at various options in for a long time, and this has been kicking around, and it belongs to a gentleman here who's got another beautiful engine, who's currently overseas, and I talked to him, and yeah, there we go. How would you see? People ask all these difficult questions. How do you transport it to shows?
That is a difficult question.
Yeah, you get shows to pay for transport,
Or you drive it.
or you drive it. Yeah, and the secret to it, I think, probably is to have it somewhere where it's in sort of close proximity to a few shows, so you probably can drive it. But I think a couple of days on the road with it over a period of few months, we would probably get a little bit more proficient at it.
Yeah, there's plenty of space to sort of down there to get familiar with it.
It rolls remarkably quickly downhill if it's left unattended.
You can get it into a lot of trouble real quick if you're
Yeah,
not careful.
yeah, it's sort
Takes
of.
some pulling up and some steering.
And some getting off in a hurry.
Or do you go down with the ship, or do you just?
No, you get off. But it's something that. Hey, John. You put a bit of throttle in reverse to slow it
Yep.
down, but you've got to be onto it, like you've got to be 2 steps ahead of it. That doesn't really just work like that.
You got to plan everything. You got to preempt everything.
And even to the point of changing fire levels and things at the bottoms and tops of hills and things. It's a learning curve for me. And Dan's got a lot of experience, but it's probably a learning curve for him in some ways too.
Yeah, rollers and traction engines aren't my area of expertise. The steam, every type of steam engine has its specialty areas and people who specialise in that kind of thing. I'm more from the railway background and the stationary engine background, and these things present unique challenges. Even though they're a locomotive style boiler, they present unique challenges that we don't have to deal with in a railway scenario, mainly the extent of the hills that they can negotiate that locomotives can't, and the effect that has on the water level of the boiler is a big safety concern in something like this. So yeah, it's a different beast entirely.
Dan needs a mic. Dan's a bit quiet. You find that if you watch his videos, he needs to speak up. He's probably had a pretty big day at work, which is fair enough too. But yeah, so it's only a little boiler. It holds 900 litres.
I was surprised when I saw that
Capacity
on the
is
ticket,
900,
actually,
so
900.
it doesn't hold that much. As say, that's full capacity, isn't it?
For a 10-ton machine, that's actually a really small boiler.
It's not huge. Yeah, Andy's sleepy after all that pizza. That's right.
Haven't even got into the beers yet.
So there you go. It'll probably go down to Northern Rivers where Dan is, if we can get it into his place without if we can find a week where there's no flooding,
That's going to be worth a video in itself, I think, just getting it
it's like
from
a
the,
epic trip. Yeah.
well, it's about 5 or 6 kilometres from the tar road to my property, and there's one gully there in particular which is going to be, it's going to take some planning, and approach it pretty carefully. So that 6 kilometres, it will probably take us the best part of a day, I reckon. By the time we
I
get
would
it off
say
the
so,
truck
at
and get it
least.
warmed up
At
and
least.
and negotiate them hills, there's probably a day's work in it. We'll be packing a lunch, put it that way, or cook it on the footplate.
So, yeah, it's a steep learning curve, yeah. And if we make a video of the trip, there'll be a few videos come out of this. Probably, I would think that when we got the canopy, we might be making some decent GoPro mounts for it while we're on it.
Maybe with a good anti-vibration mount.
Well, GoPro should absorb some of that. It doesn't vibrate much.
No, it's not too bad, but the canopy's going to move a bit.
Dan's the expert at firebox cooking. That's his field of speciality, actually. It's his special subject in all this.
And making tea.
And making tea, yeah.
That's a critical part of any.
So we should be right there, but for me, it's a pretty steep learning curve because it's been many years before I really messed with any of these. Last time I really was playing with these was probably 30 years ago. Gosh, when I was a teenager.
We're going to get you up to speed with your license.
Yeah,
Two
we
licenses
do.
you need to operate it.
So you need a boiler operator and
Yeah, boiler standard and reciprocating steam engine.
goodness gracious.
Yep.
So that's the that's sort of the main game plan with having this for a bit. I mean, custodian for a bit, probably not for all time. At some point, I'd like to sort of break even a bit better on it. And I believe that that's something we can do. But the main point of this is to get my tickets. And this seems to be the best and easiest way to do it. So I'm not sure it's the easiest way, but it's...
So you use that easy.
It's not. It's hard work. This thing is hard work on any level. You're going to get wet and you're going to get cold and you're going to get dirty and you're going to get blisters.
And you're going to get cranky.
Yeah, and you're going to get...
It'll happen because they're it's funny how when they're sitting there and they don't have a fire and they're just an inanimate lump of steel, but when you put a fire in them, when you raise steam, they take on a character, and sometimes that character can be a little bit tedious, and sometimes everything just works. You just never know what you're going to get.
It's like, yeah.
And it takes some patience.
It's like watching Fred Digner on video and actually having a beer with him at the pub. One of them would be obnoxious to whichever level, I don't know. But
I wouldn't mind it having a beer with him, actually. I reckon he'd be a bluer.
Oh, he was, yeah, I think so. Yeah. I don't know about woman. So it hasn't got a name. It's Fowler 16771, which was shipped out to Sydney with 3 others, or with 2 others anyway, I think. I think 2 others, which were consecutive numbers.
One of them being Morgan's.
Yeah, one of Dan's friends has got one number higher or one number lower?
Lower.
One number lower.
Yeah. Yep.
So 16770 is his.
I'd like to organise a reunion.
Hey, John. And this one is 16771. 16772, I don't know what happened to it. and you
Sure.
don't know what happened to 2 or 3 others that have got numbers on fittings all over the thing that have been pinched from other engines.
They're probably sitting in a park somewhere owned by the council, and they've lost their identification at some point, and no one really knows.
Yeah,
That's
although
entirely
it is
possible.
stamped on the bulkhead.
Yeah.
So it's a learning curve. It's not going to happen in great leaps and bounds. But yeah, I'm not sure Uber cars really cutting it. It's a pretty miserable way to get around. It's got dump truck tyres around the back rolls, rubber dump truck tyres bolted to the back rolls, which is all right. It's probably better than not having them, but it's less than ideal. There's probably options to tidy that up. It's black and it appears to be yellow and orange underneath. I'm not sure why. And it's very dirty at the moment. And it's very heavy. So there we go. That's kind of where we're at with Fowler's 16771. So that's everyone's in a stunned silence now. But it's sort of finally here happened. This will not be at Petrie next week, if anyone's asking, and it won't be at Timberfest on the 30th. Does the Federated Engine Drivers and Firemen's Association still exist? Is there still a union?
I don't know, actually.
Is there much rare in the running gear? Not really. It's had a couple of new gears in it. It's probably had some new bearings at some point. There's still plenty of take up on the big ends and in most of the adjustable bushes.
I think the rings and everything are all in good shape because the way it was performed.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's got a nice beat to it. It doesn't seem to like there's no knocks or anything except when you fill it up with water.
Yeah.
David, you might like to come and spend some time with us and show us what's what. What day is Petrie? Is this weekend? The steam engines are like kittens. Don't name them unless you want to keep them. That's right. Did you get rid of all your kittens, Poppy? Hope you're right. All right, John. That's not good. COVID's not good, but at least you tuned in the live stream. I think we've all had it, and we'll probably all get it again. For the bus fare, yeah. Anyway, as you can see, this 3D printed pattern is probably just a practice run because this is going to need a couple on it, and I haven't got a clue what to put on it yet.
Give a name.
Yeah, I haven't had any thoughts about that at all yet. Have they got their eyes open? There you go. There's some kitten news. No, it does not already have a name. That's right. There's no name on it yet. I don't think it's ever had one. It's got John Fowler and co leads along the running boards, which wouldn't have been original, I don't think. It would have had a council name, if anything. Probably never had anything on it.
Councils didn't often name them as such, really, did they?
No, it would have had a Grenfell City, Grenfell Shire Council probably on it. This was new, I think, to Grenfell Shire Council, from what I sort of hear. in New South Wales. So there we go. That's probably too much for one live stream already. Sorry guys, to drop that on you, but we might as well get it out on open. I wasn't sort of going to say anything too much, and I haven't done yet. I've hinted it a bit on Discord, but there you go. There's a Fowler DNA class roller. We don't do things by halves. It's a twin cylinder compound. I think it's a 4 horsepower, 5 horsepower block on it. I think they come with 5 and 7 horsepower blocks.
Because that was 6.
Is it 6?
Because mine's a 4. I thought this was a 6.
It could be.
Yeah.
That one that Bill Ives has got a bigger block on it.
Yeah, but it's
It's only 8-ton roller.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, John, probably. Seems like it. So, I guess they were spec'd at the factory, and probably they were made up out of bits when one broke down. And they made a lot of them. Fowler made 27, I think, in March in 1926. So that's not a bad effort. There's a lot of work in it. Do we have pictures? I don't know if we've got good pictures. Norwegian blue, yeah. The X-Parrot.
You'd have paint it green with a red crank, I think.
Green with a red crank. See, he's being funny now. It probably won't paint it green. Probably won't paint it. It'll get a bit of a clean up, and some of the panels and things might get painted, but some of it might just get clean too. Would be a big start. Don't know where I put the phone. The phone's got some pictures on it anyway. There's pictures on Google. Yeah, that's right. There are. There's always pictures on Google. Never seen a white roller. There's good and sufficient reason why you've never seen a white roller, actually.
They probably have it. It's just dirty.
It's not a practical colour for a roller. Black is a practical colour for a roller.
The War Department ones were that grey, weren't they? No, the railway stock was quite often.
Yeah, photographic grey.
Yeah.
Chartreuse, yeah, it's pretty pale green. Craig calls that German machine green, but that's the actual colour. Anyway, don't expect major updates at any point soon. It's going to need some reshuffling around and some bits moving about and cleaning up and tied in. But if anyone's ever made a traction engine trailer for an electric scooter before, yeah, probably not. The roller's pretty heavy, and I don't know if I said that before, but it kind of has a fair bit of presence on the road. The one good thing about it is that there's very few people who would fail to see it.
Yeah. The scary bit was when I was trying to steer it and I'm looking at the front rolls lining up with the centre line of the road, thinking I was doing well, and then I realised that the driver wheel was in the opposite lane and the other cars were having to drive around it.
Yeah, she's a bit wider than the front roll. Front rolls are in 2 bits, I guess, aren't they?
Yeah, they split in the centre. Yeah.
And it's got a scraper on the front for the sticky mud.
I think that was the other difference with yours too, is the width across the rolls. I think on yours was narrower than what this was saying too. I think we figured out.
I don't know whether it's narrow or whether the back end's narrow on this drawing.
Yeah.
I think it's
Something's not the
wider
same.
here because the proportions on this drawing are wrong. I think it's a bit wider than this one. It's yeah. Anyway, there's not much else we can say about that. It's a roller. And it comes with an undesignated amount of accessories and spare parts and things. I don't know what's there. Because the gentleman who owned it previously is actually in North Africa somewhere. Lower. Which part of Africa?
I can't remember.
Anyway, 7 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
it was 30 degrees there.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out the time zone and that. I can't recall which country in Africa it was.
And I rang him the other day at about 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was 30 degrees, and they were just starting to move some dirt. Anyway, so that's that. Anyone who comes past anywhere where it might happen to be is quite welcome to come for a ride if we've got time. But it is a fairly major part of a day to steam it and run it a couple of kilometres and shut it down and put it to bed. I guess
Probably
we're going to
won't
be
be
quicker
driving
than
it
that.
to work.
No, probably won't be driving it to work. And I'm not sure how it handles speed humps, to be honest.
I think they just crush them. That's how
Well, we
it
run
handles.
over a bit of 4-inch square timber on Sunday, and it didn't seem to worry that much. Anyway, that's the big news. That's what the drum of oil's for. I don't know if there's only really down from there. Paul's off. Work is calling. That's a bit rough. We've nearly bored you to death for an hour. There's people just turning up. Anyway, just to refresh, there's Rough Cut 2022, which is the hashtag dump on the 1st of October. Anyone who's watching this and is stuck at this far, which is a bit unusual, but if anyone has actually stuck at this far and still sort of jumped in to ask about the take care, Paul. Ask about Rough Cut 2022. It's a hashtag dump. It's basically everyone posts a video of making a cutting tool on the same day, which is the 1st of October 2022. Use the hashtag cutting Rough Cut 2022. I think that's right. And hopefully it'll bump the algorithm enough so that everyone gets a few more subscribers out of it. You can post with that hashtag before then, and maybe people will come back and watch your video, and it's probably not a terrible thing, but probably, yeah, take a bit of time and edit a good video up and make something excellent to post then. KLM had a really good video. Go and check his video out. Check mine out too, but check KLM's out because he's an awesome guy, and he's made a tool that he's going to offer as a giveaway as part of this. So that's pretty awesome. So get your name on the list. Absolutely. And he puts his face in the video too, which is awesome. He's a good guy.
I try not to do that in my videos. I struggle for subscribers as it is.
Yeah, Dan struggles for subscribers, so do I, so we try not to. But anyway, anyone who's a new subscriber here and you've stuck it through an hour of this, It's absolute torture, and we really appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing, and so on and so forth. But I think we're going to call it. We've had enough. We've not really, we've dropped enough bombshells tonight to get some stone silent. I'm sure there'll be some questions next week, but there we go. And say be kind to each other and appreciate the likes and subscribes and things like that. And more soon, guys and girls. I'm out.